Hello and welcome to the Vibe of the 315 podcast. I'm Cam.
And I'm Emily.
And today we are joined by one of our biggest fans, Becca.
Special
Becca, do you have
guest.
anything to say?
I'm glad to be on here finally. I've been a fan since day one, quite literally. So yeah, I'm just glad to be here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course.
Thank you for being on. So today we're going to be doing a Syracuse Mets roster review for the weekly episode. So we have been going to quite a few games recently. We went to the dinner this past weekend. So we thought it would be cool if we talked about our experiences with players and how they are, and overall just do a roster review. Now, this roster review is as of 4/27, so April 27th, 2023. There are some guys that are like injured or on the development list or we don't know a lot about, so we're just going to mainly skip over them, but they'll still be acknowledged. So let's get right into it. Starting off, we're going to go by position. So we're going to start off with pitchers. So the first pitcher on the current roster is Dylan Bundy. Now, what do we think of Dylan Bundy?
Well, I know the one game where we went to the dinner, he pitched very, very poorly.
Not good.
And then afterward, I think I had like 5 cards and he signed 3, which I'm honestly surprised he signed any, but like you could have done the other 2. That's just really stupid in my opinion.
Exactly. He got rocked his first start when he pitched in Scranton. He got rocked. He gave up like 5 home runs in the first inning, which was just crazy. I had 18 cards for him out, and he did 5, which I mean isn't horrible, but I mean, I'm just surprised he signed it all, honestly, after pitching so bad. Honestly, I think he's going to end up getting released because he's been so terrible, and
probably
we're not going to want him.
Surprised me. Overall, pretty mediocre player. I mean, he will sign for you, so if you're trying to get his autograph, shouldn't have any trouble, but playing wise, he could stand to improve
nothing
a bit.
special.
He's past his prime. He's past his
prime. He used to be a top prospect, and now he's in the dumps.
He's nothing.
Yeah. He's in Section 8 Syracuse. So.
Exactly. All right, moving on, we have John Curtis. Now, he was just optioned to Syracuse. He used to play for Rochester. That's about all I know about him. He wasn't at the dinner. He wasn't on the team then, but that's about all I know about John Curtis is that he used to play for Rochester.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about him.
Me neither.
Next, we got Tony DeBrell.
I like Tony. He's a cool guy. I don't think I've ever really had cards for him to sign, but he just seems like he's got, good energy in the dugout. He seems like a good team player. I overall like his vibes, but I really have never really had much of an encounter with him personally.
Yeah, at the dinner, I basically, so I didn't have any cards to him, but I felt bad because I think he was sitting next to somebody that I had cards of, and like literally everybody was passing by him. So I had him sign like a random card, and I think he was probably honored to do that because nobody was asking for his autograph. Unless they had that cheap poster, but yeah, basically I had him sign a random card because I felt bad, but.
Last year, I got him in Binghamton on a Rumble Ponies card. He was pretty cool. And one thing I'd like to mention is that I really like his teal glove. His teal glove is really cool.
Yeah, he's got some good drip on the field, so love to see that.
These next few guys, I don't think we know too much about. Emo, want to introduce the next guy?
So Seth Elledge. I honestly have never even heard of him, so
I don't know anything about Seth Elledge.
Me neither.
Don't got much to say. Honestly, the next few don't really have too much to say, but we're just gonna go through and acknowledge, they're with the team. Riley Gilliam, have heard of him, but don't have anything to say.
He's injured. He will not be in Syracuse for the whole year. Same thing with Cole Gordon and Connor Gray, both injured. Will not be in Syracuse the whole season. They're just on the roster. Which is interesting. I think they all had Tommy John surgery, so that's very interesting.
I did get Connor Gray's autograph last season. He's okay. Nothing special.
He's
Exactly.
Just okay.
Exactly.
Next up, we got in the top 30 prospects for the Mets, Grant Hartwig. He's been doing good for Syracuse. I personally have never interacted with him, but he's been doing good, and he got hit with a couple of balls last week, so that was interesting. Like he got hit with comebackers, so it was scary, but thankfully he was okay. Other than that, I don't have anything to say about Grant Hartwig.
Me neither.
Another injury, Josh Hedgeka. I know we saw him pitch last year. He throws sidearm, but that's kind of cool. But another injury that will last a full season, so we won't see him this year.
Now, one we kind of do have a story about, TJ McFarland. So I know Cam and I at the opening day game, we were getting autographs, like at the end of the net by the turf and whatever. And there was a bunch of kids there, and you know how kids want to get anything and everything signed, right? And he made a comment. He's like, who had like maple syrup? Like, you guys smell like syrup. And then he's like, you guys smell like sausage too. So it was kind of funny because he was making comments on the breakfast these kids must have eaten before the game or whatever. But it was kind of a funny little encounter.
Yeah, definitely a weird encounter. I don't even know why he would mention that, but it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
If you smell something, like, why are you like saying?
At least it wasn't a bad smell, though.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't a bad smell.
At least
but
it wasn't
overall,
Yeah.
overall, TJ McFarland seems like a pretty cool guy. And segmenting into another cool guy, we got Humberto Mejia. So, this is quite the story. So we ordered an eBay lot of him of 60 cards.
60.
And we split it 4 ways. So all of us and Kevin had 15 cards. And I was the first one, and he was like, "Wow, you have a lot." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he just kept signing, which was awesome. But then Emal got to him, and Emal, you want to say what you said to Mr. Mejia?
So he was commenting about how many cards Cam has, and I'm like, I'm so sorry because I also have like 2 pages of cards. And I can't remember who was sitting next to him, but they were like joking, like, "How do you get so many cards?" Like,
it was TJ McFarland. TJ McFarland was next to him.
Yeah, he was like, "Where'd you get so many cards?" I'm like, "So on eBay, there's a 60 card lot, and we split it between 4 of us, so we all got a lot." And then I was like, "You don't got to sign them all because opening day we got Mejia inside. Like, he actually signs inside, which is honestly pretty rare for the Syracuse Mets, shockingly." And I was like, just sign a few. Like, I know we'll come to other games and you sign inside and we'll get them. Like, overall, though, he was like really nice about it. And I think he signed like how many for each of us? Like,
I think he signed. Well, for me, he signed 7. 7.
He
for
signed
me.
9 for me.
He
signed like, he basically did a page. Yeah.
Yeah, he signed about a page for all of us.
He was nice about it, and he's like, it was saying like, "Oh, I'll get you guys another time." But like, I could tell like his hand was like cramping because unlike some people literally do like a scribble, but he actually like kind of tries every card.
Yeah.
And then like that. What's funny is like kind of going back to McFarland, he was there joking the whole time. And I kind of felt bad for him, so I had him sign random cards.
That's Becca's thing. He just has them sign.
Honestly, I wasted a lot of random cards for people I felt bad for, but basically what I've been doing, because I have a lot of autographs, so what I've been doing is the ones that I don't know, I put a piece of tape, like painter's tape, on the plastic over it, and I'll just write like, "Oh, it's TJ McFarland," so now I know. But
but I really like Mejia, and like someone like him, like he's a player like where you can actually feel like you can say something to him and talk to him. But there's a lot of other players on that team specifically where, I mean, I get scared to say more than, "Can you please sign?" and "Thanks, I appreciate it," because they just like look at you like kind of rudely, and like it's scary. So it's nice to have a down-to-earth player that you can actually talk to and kind of get to know. Like, so
you don't get that very often anymore,
no,
especially
you
not
don't.
in Syracuse. Because a lot of the players in Syracuse aren't very approachable.
Cough, cough, Mark Vientos is who I was referring to.
We'll talk about that one later. I bet there'll be a meme. There'll be a meme probably above my face about him when we get to him in a little bit. I'm a chump. I disrespect my peers. All right. Moving on. Brian Meadoyer. I don't know if he's injured. Won't see him. Probably suck anyways. Zach Muckenhern. Zach Muckenhern, the only cool thing about him is his name.
Goofy name, but yeah.
He was another one who I had signed a random card. I didn't have any.
Becca and these
Overall,
random cards.
I don't know anything about Mr. Muckenhern.
Me
A
neither.
new addition to the Syracuse Mets, actually today, the day we're recording this, Daniel Nunez. I think that's how you say it. If not, I'm sorry. He was just called up from Binghamton today. I don't know anything about him, so
Yeah.
Never
it'll
even heard of him,
be
to be honest.
interesting to learn.
Yeah.
And the next one, Emal, why don't we talk about our buddy, Eric Orsi?
All right, yeah. Eric Orsi, he was on the team last year and he's with us this year as well. He has always been pretty cool. He's always nice. He'll, sign if you want him to. He's always giving balls to the kids and stuff. He's just like a great example of how a player should be, in my opinion, like that. He'll sign for his fans. He'll talk to you. He's just a really nice, down-to-earth guy. Don't have any bad stories about him.
He respects his peers. I know one time last year I needed him on the team set card, and he was coming out of the bullpen after the game, and he came right over and signed. I was surprised.
Yeah, we were standing in
Yeah.
the berm area, and he signed for both of us and a couple of the kids. He was very nice. Never had an
Overall,
issue with him before.
Eric Orsi respects his peers, and you love to
Yes.
see that.
Good
He
job,
can
Eric,
teach some of
for
them
being a
other
good
guys.
person.
Next, we got Sean Reed Foley. He's injured, but he'll be back, I think, towards the end of the season. He's still recovering from Tommy John. He was on Buffalo for like 20 years in a row. Like, literally, he has like 5,000 different cards. Overall, when I interacted with him, he disrespects his peers. So I don't really think he's too kind. Even though he's on a million cards, he'll probably sign one if you're lucky. So that's Sean Reed Foley.
I've never interacted with him.
Same.
And I don't really care to be honest.
Yeah.
All right, next we got Denji Reyes, who was actually called up to the Mets today. So congratulations.
Good job.
Haven't interacted with him. Probably won't because he got called up, but I acknowledged him. Oscar Rojas should be in Binghamton. He sucks. Haven't interacted with him. That's pretty much it. All right, the next guy, our buddy Bubby Rossman. All right, who wants to get into the talking about Mr. Bubby?
I just want to say one thing. So, the social media people or whatever for the Syracuse Mets, first of all, need to take down that one photo that was posted without consent, but that's another story. They do like TikTok. They'll be like, what's your favorite emoji or what's your favorite karaoke song? And the two of them I've watched, which were just what I said, emoji and karaoke song, Bubby Rossman just like is so weird in the interviews. Like, nothing against him. When I've gotten his autograph, like, he's a pretty nice guy, but he's just like saying something about some Tim McGraw song or something. I don't know. He's just like honestly really goofy in the interviews, and he's like, but I need a partner to sing the female part to this song. It was just a little bit goofy in my opinion, but he seems like an all right guy. Anyone else got anything to say?
Yeah, I don't know. He seems weird to me too, because at the event, once again, I also got him on but this time, instead of a baseball card, I had the random Mets team cards from like the New York Mets.
Right.
Because I don't have a card of him. I've never gotten his autograph, and I've heard a lot about him. So I think I had like 3 of the team cards that had like a Pete Alonso and like 3 other guys on them, and then I had one that was like the Apple logo. And I just said, Bubby, can you please sign? And he said, oh, which one? And I said, doesn't matter, whichever one you want to. And he like actually thought about it. Like, he actually took 5 seconds and looked at him.
He's probably signed a total of 3 autographs this season, 2 for me and 1 for Becca. That's probably about all he's signed.
Yeah, he signed one of the Pete Alonso ones, but I don't know. It was just a weird interaction. Only one I've ever had. It was very strange.
Yeah, he seems a little kooky. I mean, he seems like a nice Jewish guy, but I don't know if you ever went to lunch in the Jewish community with him. I don't know how the conversation would be.
Go to lunch in the Jewish community. I won't tell on.
He seems a little bit awkward, but I'm really not one to talk, so am I. But that's Bubby Rossman for you guys.
Next, we have Dennis Santana, and let me tell you, when he got put down to Syracuse, I was so excited. I was
Yes.
so excited to have Dennis Santana on Syracuse. I knew I had a card of him that was numbered that I got actually in Cooperstown like 4 years ago.
That's cool.
But I got that signed. He's been really cool. Doesn't seem like he speaks much English, but that's okay. I mean, he understands enough. He signs good. He takes
He's
pictures with his
respectful.
fans. Like, he's respectful. So overall, Dennis Santana, very cool guy, and I'm happy that he was in Syracuse.
Yeah, the
I
only
agree.
time I ever asked for his autograph, he signed. So good job, Dennis. Thank you.
Cool guy. Seems like he's a pretty good player. So like what I've seen from him.
Definitely. Next, we have Alex Valverde, and I bet you guys have seen in the vlogs, but he started opening day for us, and last year in Binghamton, he was 2-8 with like a 6 ERA. Not good, but somehow he's progressed his career and made it to AAA, so congratulations on that front. Overall, though, probably should be in Binghamton, and expect him to get sent down any day.
Rumble ponies on the phone.
Literally.
Next one, we got Josh Walker. So I don't know if anyone knows what he looks like, but he literally looks like Brett Beatty.
I'll put a picture up somewhere. Yeah, you guys will see
I remember like last year, I think Beatty was still on the Rumble Ponies, but I like see this dude in the dugout and I'm like, Cam, is that like Brett Beatty? Like it looks just like him. It really does.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I don't know if I've ever really even talked to him or got an autograph from him. I don't believe I have. I mean, he seems all right. I don't really know, but he looks like Brett Beatty, so it's weird. They got a doppelganger on their team.
Literally. Yeah. It's just, like Emal said, I was like, oh my God, that's literally Brett Beatty, but it wasn't. It was Josh Walker.
It wasn't, yeah.
And ever since then, I've just been saying, hey, look, there's Brett Beatty. There's Brett Beatty.
It's like a little joke now.
Next, we have William Woods, who was actually promoted from Binghamton to Syracuse the other day. He's back on Syracuse. And, of course, he gets sent down, so I send my cards for a 50-50, and he gets put back up here. So, great job, William. Just great job. Don't have too much else to say about him.
I have nothing to say about him.
Same.
All right, moving to catchers. So Oscar Campos, development list. He's on the development list, so he won't even play for us. I think he's just a placeholder for somebody that got called up. Overall, a bot, and should be in probably Brooklyn at this point, not even Binghamton.
All right, Nick Meyer.
Oh gosh, let's get into this one.
I just want to say his walk-up song is very odd.
It's annoying.
Yes, loud and annoying. It's the "You Look Like a Lady" song. Like, I don't.
And it's been the same thing. It's been the same thing.
I don't associated with the Mets organization. It's been the same.
I don't know, like, why that's like a flex or like cut your hair, buddy. It does not look good.
His long hair is his only personality,
and like
it's very annoying.
I wanted to get his signature last year in Binghamton, and he like snuck out the back, like completely ignored all the fans. It's like, Nick Meyer won't even sign for you. Like, that is how bad the Mets organization is. Like, they do not, they don't like the fans. They don't like signing. Like, it's crazy.
Literally.
I had added in my notes that he made very, very stupid remarks at the dinner.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, he's like, well, first of all, let's just say this has really nothing to do with baseball, but the people of Syracuse are just stupid. The questions that were asked at that dinner were second grade questions. What's your favorite Marvel villain? And I am, if you want to follow my Instagram, I am a Marvel nerd and a Disney adult. And I would.
I'll put the tag on the screen.
$5 to ask Brett Beatty what his favorite MCU villain is, and I'm not joking when I say that was a question that a kid asked. But somebody was like, do you have any, what did he say, Cam? He was like, do you have any advice
for a catcher?
To a Little League catcher.
Yeah.
And he was like, don't be a catcher.
Yeah, play other positions and do other things and try new things, and very, very basic, dumb answers.
Yeah.
I'll put the clip in if you guys haven't seen it. I'll put the clip in right now so you can see what stupidity he puts us through. So,
What advice would you give to a Little League catcher?
Stop catching.
I just want to say, a little off topic, but at that dinner, like, it honestly seemed like none of them wanted to be there. And when I
No.
say none of them, I mean maybe 5 players were like, okay, cool, like, I can actually, sign for some fans and, like, give back in a way.
We'll talk about some later, but, like, people like DJ Stewart, like, he, in my opinion, didn't even look like he wanted to be bothered. Like, when I got his autograph, he was sitting there like this on the table, like, with his sunglasses on. Like, the only ones who really seemed like they wanted to be there were like Makia and like Santana, like interacting with fans.
Honest God, yeah. And it's always the it's always the players that people like actually like and want to get that are the rudest, like the prospects.
Mhm.
Like we said, we'll talk about them later, but it's just really sad to see. It really is, because you want to like these people and support them, but when they literally disrespect their fans, like, why would you? Why would you support that?
Exactly. Next is the last catcher on the current roster is Michael Perez, and let me tell you, I've gotten his autograph twice in 2 years, and he's batting about 150. So he's rude, he sucks, and that's about all I have to say about Mr. Perez.
Basically sums up most of the Syracuse players, bullpen bots that don't even sign, even though they suck.
Moving into infielders now, we have my personal favorite Syracuse Met of the 2023 season, Jonathan Arauz. Every time I've interacted with him, he's been so nice. Racks. So if you're gonna see Jonathan Arauz, put everything you have for him, because he's racker and he's very nice. And like that, he signed 9 for me one day, and then at the dinner I had him sign some more, I think 3 more. Didn't say anything, like didn't give me a hard time about it. Overall, Mr. Arauz is a very congenial fella.
Yeah, seems like a really just chill guy. And when it's colder, them colder games, you'll see him with the shiesty mask. I think that's a nice accessory, but he's one of the ones you can spot with the shiesty mask if it's cold out.
That's actually the one in the opening day vlog. Emal said, "Take off your shiesty mask," and I said, "He did," and Emal said, "Thanks." So Mr. Arauz listens to Miss Ma when saying to take off the shiesty mask. Just kind of
funny. I really like him this year. Honestly, he might be like my favorite player on this team, because the ones that play good, like the prospects, are actually the rudest ones. But he's actually like looks cool and is cool and like signs. So
he's actually good too. He's batting like 360 something.
Yeah, he's honestly one of the best on the team.
Yeah, he is one of the better ones. Now, speaking of, someone everyone knows and loves, Ronnie Mauricio. So he's a prospect, as you guys know. And it seems like his signing habits have changed a little bit since he came up to the Mets, Syracuse Mets. But Cam and Becca, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, he's an odd duck. So last year in Binghamton, his autograph was Ronnie M with a line underneath the M. That's what his autograph was. This year, it's ROM line under it. But at the dinner, he signed it the old way. He signed him Ronnie M. So it's kind of interesting how he changes his autograph. Maybe he was doing it differently for the dinner. Who knows? But seems like a bit of an odd duck. I mean, I want to like him, but when you spend an hour making a sign for somebody's birthday and they don't even sign for you, it makes you not really like a person. So
yeah. Like that, rude. Cam literally wrote "Happy Birthday" in Spanish, like "Feliz cumpleaños," and he spent a lot of time on it. It was a very nice gesture, and he could even sign one card for him. So, and that's another thing. If you ever try him, if you can even sign, so don't put because he's one per.
Exactly.
Yeah, I literally have in my notes "used to be cool." Because back when he was in Binghamton, like I really liked him, and
Me too.
I still like him, but I mean I can see after that experience that was really a dick move to do that, but he still is. I think he's still a good player. I had written also again signs cards differently, me and Cam thought maybe it had to do with like the first Bowman, like how we signed some cards different ways. But then I was looking back at my old autographs and nothing lines up at all. I have the same card signed in different ways. So I know the first time I ever got his autograph in Binghamton, he signed 2 cards for me because it was a rained out game. Shout out to SC Static. It was the SC Static game. Ronnie had signed 1 card for me or something, 1 per for me and Cam. Then he was out there signing for the kids and me and Cam just like double dipped. And he like did like a crappy signature, but yeah, I don't know what to think about him, honestly. He really doesn't speak English very well, which
No, he does not at all.
That's okay.
That makes it difficult.
He was like one of the main people at that dinner that people were asking questions about because he's newer, he's a prospect, he's young. Nobody really knows that much about him. And people were genuinely asking, the better questions were directed towards him, and he was answering them in Spanish. And that's just like, once again, when you're paying $35, like, you want a real answer and not,
right.
Like he was taking stuff like way too literal. Like somebody asked him like the furthest home run and he said it's like 500 something feet and we're all looking at each other like, no way.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and they had said like, like, do you remember the first home run at home you hit? And I thought meaning at home, meaning like the home stadium, like Binghamton or like Syracuse Mets stadium. But he like was saying something in Dominican Republic or wherever he's from. He was saying a whole other answer than what people were actually asking.
He's been in the U.S. for so long. Like, come on, learn English. That's my thing.
Yeah, like he had to have like a translator and everything. Like that's the thing with a lot of these players is, they don't, English is probably their second language or, they just know a little bit of it. So that's where I'm like saying with some players like that, it's hard to like connect to them and actually talk because you can't really have a conversation with them or whatever. And we're kind of indifferent about him because he has been really cool at some moments and a little bit iffy at others. But I say that his current hair is not it looks like ramen noodles, me and Cam joke about.
Literally. And it's not even the actual ramen noodles. It's like orange ramen noodles. Like, it's not, his hair isn't even blonde.
It's like before they're
mixed.
Yeah, he's got to get some toner on that or something.
Literally. All right, enough of Ronnie.
Talking about an actual rude player.
Danny Mendick. The name explains it all.
Mendick.
The name explains it all. He is so rude. I mean, he signs 1 per.
So rude.
The autograph is okay, I guess. I mean, it's one of the better ones on the team.
Yeah.
But we actually have a story about him, and I knew this coming in to him being on the team this year that he was going to be a Koi boy. In 2019, the Syracuse Mets were playing against the Charlotte Knights, and this is back in the prime of Syracuse Mets baseball when Section 222 was in existence, and it was before all of the renovations. So us 3 were all in 222 enjoying the game, probably with Norb. Not really sure if he was there or not. Anyways, Mr. Mendick was playing left field, and there was a foul ball hit to him. Now, instead of throwing it to the fans, I'm not even saying throw it to us. Instead of throwing it to somebody in the stands, he decides to throw it over into the grounds crew area so that nobody could get it.
Right.
And after that, I was like, what is wrong with you? The whole section started booing. Overall, just very stupid. Like, you couldn't throw it 5 extra feet to a fan instead of throwing over the fence.
Or like that.
You're stupid.
If you don't want to throw it to anyone, ground ball it over to the bullpen. Like, why do you just completely waste the ball? It's not necessary at all. But it just shows the type of person he is, and he hasn't changed yet. So you have a player who has actually changed their ways, who used to be rude, but now is a pretty cool guy. We got Jose Peraza. He was on Scranton last year, then he went to the Woo Sox, and now he's with the Mets. But when he was on Scranton, he didn't really sign much. And he'd be like the type of player who's like, I'll get you later or tomorrow. And like, I say
Never
that,
does.
you're not getting him, basically. And I know when Cam and I went to a Scranton game last year, like no one on Blue Sox signed. I think like literally 3 players total did. And we were like, Jose, can you please sign? And he looked at us, he contemplated, and then he came over and signed, which actually was really nice of him. And the times I've asked him to sign in Syracuse, he has signed 1 or 2 cards, but he'll sign like every time. So overall, he's been really cool on Syracuse.
Definitely. My little theory about Jose is that on Scranton, they have the rule where you can't have facial hair because they're like a Yankee affiliate. And then when he was on the Woo Sox, he had his beard back, and he has his beard back again this year. I think he was miserable because he couldn't have a beard in the Yankees farm system, and that made him upset. So he wouldn't sign. But now he's like, okay, since he has his beard, like he had it last year when he was on the Woo Sox, he has it this year again. So I really think Jose like loves his beard. I really think he loves his beard, and that has a factor into when he's gonna sign or not. That's just my personal opinion, though.
Yeah, I know. Like last year, like we had so many cards of him that were unsigned that Cam like literally was scribbling on him like during a game. Like
yeah.
But, honestly,
we disliked him
actually,
so much.
I like him a lot now. He's actually like a good hitter, and he's consistently signs. He's 1 per, but like he 1 pers like every game. So
yeah,
exactly.
he's definitely learned from his mistakes and gotten better. Whereas most of the people that we're talking about have actually gotten worse. So good job, Jose.
And a fun little like chant they do at Syracuse Mets is Jose, 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 Jose. And it's just like fun to do, and like that he's a player, you know, that's pretty good. Signs is good to the fans. So someone like him I will cheer for, and not you know. So
definitely.
Overall, Jose guy, we like
Jose, you're cool. All right, now let's get into somebody that's really cool. We got Luke Ritter back in Syracuse. So me and Emal got a picture with him last year in Binghamton. Editing Cam put the picture of Cam and Emal right here of Luke Ritter. And then I got a picture with him again this year when he came back up to Syracuse, which was really cool. And his first at bat back in Syracuse, back in AAA, he had a home run. I swear to God, he hit a home run. First at bat.
It was a nice one.
I was happy to see that. I literally started screaming at the top of my lungs. I went crazy.
Yeah, we were cheering loud.
Yep. That doesn't happen often. And
exactly.
I personally never gotten a picture or anything, but I have gotten his autograph a few times, and I've never had a bad experience with him. He's honestly one of the nicest people that has been a Syracuse Met.
Very nice guy.
3 years, so.
Definitely.
Agreed. Love you, Luke.
All right. This next one.
Next name I see. There's a lot to say here, folks, about Mark Vientos. Cam, do you want to start?
All right. So this dates back to last year. So it was a nice August day, I would like to say. And Kevin Yanks gave me a picture of Mark to get signed for him because he told Kevin Yanks previously that he's not going to sign for him anymore and to back away from his car when he's signing in his car.
Yeah.
So he's not going to sign for Kevin anymore. So Kevin gave me the photo to get signed. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. He comes over to sign. He looks at the photo. He looks at me, just the dirtiest look. He signed it.
Yeah.
But after that, he just knows my face and he just despises me. I mean, at the dinner, he literally gave me like a death stare, like literally like this, like a death stare. And it was scary. And like that Thursday before, the dinner was on a Saturday, that Thursday before he stopped and signed out of his car after he got ejected from that game. And then the Saturday he has an issue. Like, I don't understand what's the huge deal. Like I got one photo signed for Kevin Yanks. Like none of us have sold his stuff because
exactly.
Like none of us have sold any of you. So
that's one thing I will say is
coy.
like I've never sold an autograph before. I traded once, but I really collect like for a hobby. Like it's a hobby. Like it has nothing to do with making money. If anything, I actually lose money on buying cards.
Yeah,
but
it's an expensive hobby sometimes.
Right, but I know when Vientos first came to Syracuse a couple years ago, I didn't have any cards of him or anything. So I had wanted him to sign, once again, Becca's random cards. And all I had was, because obviously it's the Mets, so I didn't like have any Met cards at the time. And I had like a random Nationals one. And you graphers out there know, anybody who collects cards, like the older team set ones were like just a stadium. It's pretty much just shows grass.
Exactly.
And I had put that out in front of him, and he's like, "You got a Mets card?" And I said, "No, like, can you just please sign this one?" I think it was like a Nationals card. And he's like, "No, I'm only doing Mets ones. Like, I never played for them. I'm not doing it." And the CCC card collecting community in Syracuse is actually, most of them are pretty cool. And one of them is like, because the Mets used to be, like, when they were the Chiefs, they were Washington affiliate. Somebody's like, "Oh, I like the Nats. Do you want to trade for a Mets one?" And I said, "Yes, please." So first Mark Vientos card I have was that one. Just a very, very weird interaction. And over the years, I've gotten him quite a few times. And like, I think I like him because like he has stopped a few times, like when he's driving out in his car, which none of them ever do except for Jake Mangum. Shout out to him. But literally nobody like stops or like signs really like when they're in their car. So I think that's why I like him. He is a good player. I wouldn't say he's a good person though.
Exactly.
Yeah. I guess I'll give my little rundown on him. I think I've gotten him 4 times in my life. Okay. So you can tell, I'm racking up the Mark Vientos, like making bank off of this guy's signature. So the first time I got him, it was that August night where he signed for probably like 5-6 people. And, it's when he's like, "Kevin, I'm not signing for you." I'm like, that's kind of weird, but whatever. I got him then. And then last year, Cam and I went to a game and he was signing by the berm for like a bunch of kids. And he signed for me and Cam, and I got a picture with him. And that's when Cam tried to get that photo taken. And he often gives people dirty looks and like stares. Like, it's rude when like a player's doing that to literally a fan that is supporting you and spending their money and their free time, to come support you, go to a game, get your autograph. And a lot of times players, I don't know if you know this, but fans get autographs because they like you as a player and they support you. Like,
exactly.
I know it's like probably mind blowing to you, Mark Vientos, like that someone would want your autograph because they like you, but that's the reality of it a lot of times. So I got him then. And then the third time I got him was a week ago, that Thursday night, where it was literally me, Cam, and another guy. Just me and Cam were getting his signature. And earlier, he said he'd sign inside the stadium. It was a header, so there were 2 chances he could have signed. The first time he went in, I'm like, whatever, no big deal. Probably actually doesn't have time. And then he signed for one person and then completely ignored like me and Cam, which was a little bit rude, but whatever, the players are. And then, so I got him that night, and then I got him at the dinner, and I also helped Kevin get a card signed because that is what we do. Like, the CCC at Syracuse, like, we're family. We're friends with each other,
Family.
Yeah, like, I am happy to help someone out. Like, I don't really collect cards myself. I help my sister here get autographs and stuff. And then, Cam, if I don't have a card, and he, just did a quick signature, and like, I could tell he's mad. Like, "I signed for you 2 days ago." Like, what do you do? I'm paying $35 here to get your signature. Right. I'm only putting out one card. I'm not putting out a page. And it's like, he had a problem with it. I'm like, it's just crazy. And like, he was like one of my favorite players, and I mean, I still do like him, but it's hard for me to like a player when like I can tell they don't like me. Like, it's rude. Yeah. Exactly. He gives you dirty looks, and I can tell how he's signing so quick and not doing a good autograph. Like, I can tell he was like mad I'm getting his autograph at literally an event where you get players' autographs. Like, it's just annoying and weird like that. But
as Kevin Yank said, Deion Sanders starter pack. Like, literally.
Yeah.
Like, I'm serious. That's it for the infielders portion.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the outfielders, and we have some characters in the outfield, let me tell you. Let's start with injured Abraham Almonte, who is on rehab and will be joining the Syracuse Mets very soon. So, he's a loser, and he needs to get bigger pants. Last year, he was on the Woo Sox, and let me tell you, this man had high waters. I'm talking.
Uh-huh.
They
It
didn't
was
even
a
go
sight to
close
see.
to his ankle. Like he didn't even have the high socks. He was wearing them like all the way down, and they did not fit him. And it's
Mm-mm.
just ridiculous. And one day he came out in Syracuse when he was on Woosocks with the bus, and he literally had a huge boom box blasting music. Like, you're
Wow.
not cool, Abraham. Like, you're
He
a
definitely
loser.
thinks he
No.
is too by his demeanor. And just
Yeah.
pack it up, because you're not even Trumpster, so you can really
Exactly.
put the axe while you're
Yeah.
ahead.
And he's injured, so he hasn't yet been in Syracuse this year. But I'm telling you, if him and Francisco Alvarez were ever on this team at the same time, boy, would they be a nice pair of eating partners right there, because I can tell they'd pack it in. They should go visit like Golden Corral and like the buffets in the area, because I know they'd go crazy at that.
Literally. All right, Emal,
Next
you want to intro
player.
the next guy?
Next player, Lorenzo Cedrola. I think he's a younger guy. I don't think I've ever really gotten his autograph. He seems fine, but all I can think about when I hear his name is how last week at the one game he like got hit in the head and he got taken out because he
Yeah.
literally got hit in the head. And then
And you could hear
our
it through the
favorite,
whole stadium.
yeah, and then Khalil Lee, went into pinch run for him or whatever, but he's probably all right. Haven't really had any experience with him, but I hope his
Me
head's
neither.
okay.
But like
Yeah, I
that,
hope he's
he got
okay.
hit in the head, and he was still at the dinner later that day.
Right.
And
Exactly.
one thing I want to say, which I think is kind of funny, he proved me wrong in this sense, though, is the first series that they were here, the Mets were here, he was batting about 179, and I yelled, Lorenzo, how do you like Binghamton? Because I thought he was going to get sent down. But this trip back, when they played Durham, he was batting like 320 something, so he's
Wow.
going to stay in
Mhm.
Syracuse. Like, he actually got his game
Good.
up, so props
Yeah,
to you,
good for him.
Lorenzo.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
actually think he probably is pretty nice, so we'll let you know. But yeah.
Next, we have Carlos Cortez, and he was the chump of last week. And
Yeah.
his famous quote is, "I'm only doing one of
Only
these."
doing one.
He's only doing one.
I'm
He
only
doesn't
doing
sign the
one.
same. He doesn't sign the same card twice. Like if you have dupes, he doesn't do them. But if you have different ones, he'll do that, which is just kind of dumb. I mean,
Stupid idiot.
when you have 14 and half of them aren't even for you, like you're a chump.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah,
even
I
good
literally
anyways.
at the dinner, I've never even asked for his autograph before. And at the dinner I had
Yeah.
literally 2 cards. Literally 2 cards. I'm only doing one today, he said.
Like
Yeah.
you
Okay,
said,
That's his
fine.
quote.
And all I had were 2. I mean, literally. Now, all I will say was at least he signed the chrome one out of the 2. There was a chrome one that he signed, but still, I mean, what an idiot. I
If
mean,
you try to
literally
get
2 cards and you're only doing one of them?
One-
Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's just rude. Very rude.
Yeah.
moving from rude to nice, we're gonna go to Jalen Davis now. He's newer on the team, but let me tell you, the few times I've interacted with him, he's been so nice. The first day he came right over and signed.
Yeah.
He was nice at the dinner. Like every time I've asked him to sign, he's been so nice, and he's one of the guys that has more MLB experience on the team. So it was kind of surprising, but I was happy to see that Jalen Davis was really cool about being like signing and interacting with fans and stuff like that. So overall, Jalen Davis,
Yeah.
pretty cool guy.
Anytime
I
someone's
really
asked
liked
him
him.
to sign, he has.
Definitely.
Yeah, I got his autograph at the dinner, and he was very cool. He seemed very chill, and he is a good player. So overall, he is one of my favorites this year.
All right.
This next one, yikes. That's all I have to say. One word to describe this player is yikes. We have Khalil Lee, the girlfriend beater. Now, Emal, you have the article pulled up, so why don't we get into the article like that? We've said a little bit about this Khalil Lee drama saga, whatever you want to call it, but we haven't fully gotten into it. So that's what we're going to do right now.
Yeah.
We're going to dive just headfirst right into it and explain everything that's been going on with Khalil Lee. So, Emal, you have the article up.
So
Why don't we take a listen?
This article is from Syracuse.com, so reliable source. I'm gonna read parts of it, For some context, this was last edited in February. So when I still see people cheering for him and literally like security and ushers there, it's just crazy that either they support it or B, they don't know who's on their team, who's in the building, who are the real threats security wise. So
right.
in the article, I just want to say, so this makes sense for everyone, the girl he was seeing, her last name is Hill, so it refers to her as Hill, and then Lee, obviously, as Khalil. So let me get into this. So in May 2021, it all started. Hill and Lee met over social media while they were both living in New York City, and they began to have a romantic relationship through the summer. So she visited Lee several times a month and often came to Syracuse or on road games to see him. And in September 2021, the couple ended their relationship, but were still in contact. In early May 2021, Lee told Hill to fly to Syracuse, and she stayed at Khalil's apartment. On May 6th, Lee told Hill that he might want to rekindle the relationship, so get back together. Later that night, she saw on his phone an intimate text conversation, which appears to be with another woman. So allegedly, he's basically cheating on her. So later that night, it led to an argument around midnight, and Lee kicked her in the thigh, which caused her to fall down. She began crying, and Lee called her dramatic. After that, Lee called her ugly, and then she ended up slapping Lee in the face and walked away. Lee then grabbed her by her box braids and yanked her backwards, causing her to hit a kitchen island hard, like a kitchen island. Then, as if that's not bad enough, Hill felt Lee's hand around her neck. She could not breathe or speak to him to tell him to let her go. And after about 10 or 15 seconds, Lee let her go. Sorry, I'm flipping pages on this. Lee let her go and pushed Hill away from him. She ended up going to a hotel where she was smart and did what you should, and she took photos of the bruises and marks left by Khalil and reached out to a friend she could trust. And then they filed a report, and an arrest warrant was placed for Khalil. And what the Mets had to say about all this is the Mets immediately notified MLB upon becoming aware of the allegations. We will not fully comply with the MLB's policy and cannot comment until the completion of the league's investigation progress. Khalil was not at all, punished for what he did, and he's still playing, walking free around here, and it's just unbelievable what he did. And like that, no consequences for him yet, still on the team. But let me say this, he was the one player that did not show up to the team dinner. Mm-hmm. And I think I know why, folks. I think it's because some loyal fans and graphers know what he's done, and we do not support him. If you support that, you need to get your brain checked, because he is a danger to society and a danger to women. And personally, as a woman, I feel uncomfortable when there is players like that on the team, like that when you're waiting outside for autographs and it's, just you, there's no security, like you never know what could happen. So you just got to be aware. You never know, what someone's done or whatever.
He's a very big dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine him, like, if you see him like in person, like he's a big guy, like he's very muscular. So imagining that guy like attacking you is really scary.
It's a scary thought, exactly. And like that, you think with them being like a public figure, oh, you can trust him, like he's on baseball team. You can't. And like that, so many people still cheer for him, and we boo him, and we turn around and say he beats his girlfriend. Like that's what you want to support.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys want to read up more on that, just Google Khalil Lee court or
something along those lines, case or something like that, and it'll come up like that. That's why there's been memes in the vlog about him, and that's why we boo him and everything. Like he does not deserve to be a pro baseball player anymore. He's done
Release
this.
Him.
His court got adjourned, which that's going to be a new this new series. But it's going to drag out all summer. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, you see what happened to Trevor Bauer when his stuff came out, but you see what happens to Khalil Lee.
And I'll say, this isn't even related to the allegations. Let's forget that even happened. Forget that even happened. I got his autograph one time in like 3 years. He
Yeah, he
Literally.
doesn't
literally
sign.
is one of the rudest. He never signed inside at all. He signed one time outside when it was raining, and like I think we might have been the only ones there, like maybe one or two other people. And then one time I distinctly remember one time it was literally just us three outside after a game, and we said, Khalil, can you please sign? And he's like, no, I gotta be somewhere, or I got somewhere to be, or he said something to that
Yeah, go
effect.
beat his
And
girlfriend.
then he's on his phone texting, walking so slow, and I'm thinking, I think I might have even said it out loud at the time. I'm like, man, he's really in a rush. I mean, it's just so rude. Like, forget all the allegations even happened. Like, he is one of the rudest players, and I used to like him because I thought I thought he looked cool. He always had cool sunglasses on. Like, even the fans, like a lot of the fans liked him. Like, they were literally like, and emo knows this. Like, last year there was literally like a young brother and sister. Like, they really wanted his autograph. They were waiting with us like till like 11 o'clock, and he, you know, he always like revs his car. Like, he's always very
Yep, I was gonna
obnoxious
say
when he
that.
leaves. Yeah, so, and it's funny because I'm on the Syracuse Mets like fan page or fan group on Facebook, and somebody posted like Khalil wasn't at the dinner, and like people are noticing now, which is good that like stuff like what you guys are doing is getting more
Yeah,
noticed. Like,
people need to
people
know
need to
that.
know. People need to
Exactly.
know. And I
Shouldn't
think
be
people are
swept
finally
under the rug.
recognizing, and then people in the comments were like, well, what happened, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I commented domestic abuse allegations or like something like that.
Yes.
But yeah, so he honestly is a terrible person, a very rude person. Honestly, I really hope he gets released, and
Hashtag
I
release
hope he
Khalil
doesn't even.
Lee.
I hope
Keep
he
that
doesn't even
going,
play
guys,
overseas. Like,
please.
he really deserves to just rot in hell.
His
Like,
career should be over.
Exactly.
If he wants to work somewhere,
Exactly.
he can work on a McDonald's or Walmart. He should not be a public figure. And like that,
Right.
they always say this is a family-friendly clubhouse area, whatever. Bring your kids to the game. I would not, if I had kids, I'd not be comfortable with them interacting with
They're
Exactly.
family.
promoting
And
it.
even
They're
as a
basically
woman, I am
promoting
not
it.
comfortable. Exactly. So that is the real truth on Khalil.
Moving past
Crazy.
Khalil, let's get on to some less sensitive topics like DJ Stewart. Although he is a loser, I feel like it's better to talk about him than Khalil. So at the dinner,
Definitely.
I didn't even think he was going to be there because he was on the injured list. But lo and behold, DJ Stewart's there. So we have to fumble to get our cards in the pages because we had to take him out because we didn't even think he was there. So we get all of our stuff organized, whatever. I had 9 out for him. He looks at the first 2. No, I'm not going to sign those. He goes over and signs 1 out of 9. Like, he just looks and chooses which one he's going to sign, which is weird. But like that 1 per when you're not even technically on the team, you're injured. Like, you suck anyways.
Yeah,
like,
I was
weird.
really mad because, like you said, we didn't even think you'd be there, so I was consolidating my stuff, and I had like, I think I had 4 cards, and I take one of them like got really damaged when I was taking it out of my binder, and I put them all back up, and he just literally signs 1, and I literally wrote in my notes like literally 2 words, very rude.
Yeah.
So
like that.
He was very rude. When I honestly don't know if I'd even try for him again. He probably won't ever sign inside. Prime example of Syracuse Mets players. Prime example.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know that this is a long one, but he signed for me and it was starting to sprinkle a little bit and started raining, and he signed them like immediately. Like, he closed my binder, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, you guys know if you get autographs, like the Sharpie will smudge, like you gotta let it kind of dry a little bit. And he's like, closing my binder. I'm like, excuse me, like, please do not close that. Like, I'm not trying to have the one autograph I'll ever get of you get smudged right now.
Literally. Overall,
Bullshit.
DJ Stewart is a typical Syracuse Mets
Idiot.
player.
An idiot.
All right, let's go into coaches. We got Dick Scott.
He is a weird fella. So at the dinner, let me explain this. At the dinner, they had black Sharpies out, like, ready to sign. Us graphers always use blue. I don't care who you are. If you're a grapher, you use blue Sharpie. Everyone does it.
Exactly.
So I go up to him. I said, Dick, can you please sign? And can you also use blue? He was like, wow, you guys are really specific. And Kevin says, yeah, like we all use blue Sharpie. Like everybody uses blue Sharpie. That's just how we get stuff signed. Like it was very weird how he wanted to use black and like thought it was weird that we wanted to use blue.
With me, with everybody, I would say, blah, blah, can you please sign, slide my binder, and then hand them the Sharpie. With Dick, he didn't even take my Sharpie. He literally used his black one. And you know, what's worse about it is, and see, when I was younger, I went years using black Sharpie. I personally don't have an issue with it. I do think blue looks better now that I kind of know more and I've gotten into it more. But he signed it with a thin tip, black Sharpie. So it was terrible.
What a coy boy.
Honestly, waste of card. I only got him because he's the manager and like I've heard of him. Like I knew who he was. I think probably Mets fans do know who he is. But very, very weird. And if you want to see that terrible autograph, you can check my Instagram Becca's _graft.
Yeah,
I'll put it on
drop
the screen right now. I'll put it on the screen, and all of the socials will be in the description below. So check those out as well. Give Becca a follow.
Yeah, check out that one post and just look at how terrible that signature is. You don't even have to read the description. You'll just know because it's the only one signed with a thin point black Sharpie.
Exactly. Next, we're going to move on to JP Arancibia, who is the bench coach. Personally, I think he's sometimes cool and sometimes weird. Really just depends. At the dinner, he's like, which ones of these do you want me to do? I had 12 out for him. Which ones of these do you want me to do? And I said, can you just do one of each? Because I had like 2 of the same one. And he signs them, whatever. But his autograph is literally like a scribble. Like, it's horrible. The way he holds the pen is weird, too. Like, he holds it like on the side, basically. But overall, the first time I saw him, he was cool. The second time, a little bit weird. I don't know really what to expect from Mr. Arancibia these days.
He's kind of wishy-washy. What I do have to say, though, is at that team dinner, so it's like a Q&A. Half of it was a Q&A with the players, and right before the Q&A sneaks out one of the coaches. He left. His wife was like in town for the weekend, which that honestly caused a lot of issues, I'd say. But he left the Q&A to go have dinner with his wife because she had posted on her Instagram story. So I know that's where he went. It's like, this is a one-day thing. You're the manager of the team and you can't even stay, coach or whatever. You can't even stay to ask questions. And like that, he's, a former MLB guy. Like, I'm sure a lot of people did have questions for him and he totally dipped. So honestly, I lost a little bit of respect for him because of that, but it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, I put 2 cards out in front of him and he signed them, but he didn't talk. Like, it was.
He's not too enthusiastic.
And I think I agree with like what you say. Like, I think a lot of it is because his wife is kind of famous, and because of what her job is. And if you don't know, just Google it. But it was very weird that she was even there. Like, why did they even do it? I had heard Kevin, our buddy Kevin, say that they had security escort her out like after the game. So it's dumb how she's sitting there. Literally, we saw her literally
put her in a box or something.
Herself,
like,
pretty much by herself. And then they're worried at this event about security issues. Like, I just thought it was stupid. But yeah, not much more to say about him. Just weird.
Next, we have 3 coaches who I don't have anything to say about. I'll just acknowledge their existence. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about them, but
no, absolutely.
Colin Hetzler, Kyle Driscoll, and Jordan Krause are on the coaching staff of this team. Never interacted with them. Probably don't plan on it.
No, me neither.
Next, let's talk about the literal GOAT of the team. The best coach, player, anything. Vanessa Weisbach. She was on Binghamton last year. She's the trainer. Whenever somebody gets hurt and she goes out, I always scream, "Great job, Vanessa!" The trainer Vanessa is helping Michael Perez currently. Good job, Vanessa! Good job! Vanessa helping the players
She's
really.
awesome.
She's really good at her job, like literally the go.
Love the female
I got her.
representation.
Yeah, I got her autograph last year in Binghamton. Probably the only person who's ever asked for her autograph.
It was a full sig too. You could
It was
see
a full
every letter.
signature. It was a full sig, and she was very nice, very pleasant, very polite. She is a great
Great
person.
person.
Good job, Vanessa. Good job.
All right, next we got another trainer who also helps Vanessa is Hiroto Kawamura. I think that's how you say it. If not, sorry, buddy.
Mhm.
But
Never
she
had
also
really-
he also helps Vanessa. He's also a trainer. But let's get into Mr. Kawamura.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty cool guy. We've never like interacted with him, but you know, he seems to enjoy his job. He seems to do a good job at it. So seems like one of the better coaches or, you know, in that group of people.
Definitely seems like a good help to Vanessa too, which you love to see.
Now we're going to get into some people not currently on the team. We're just, most of them going to run through their names because there's not much to say. And this podcast is getting pretty long. So personally, I'm trying to speed it along a little bit.
Literally.
I don't even know if the computer will take all of this. But Cam, do you just want to kind of read through those guys?
Yeah, so if I'll read through them. If I have a story, we'll stop and say the story. If not, I'm just going to say names. All right, here we go. Jeff Brigham, Jose Butto, Jose Chassin, Nolan Claney, Justin Courtney. Now, Justin Courtney is the guy that said never heard of him. He must suck on the opening day vlog. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that. David Griffin, Dylan Hall, Tommy Hunter, Joey Lucchese, Stephen Negosic, Edwin Useda, Jimmy Yacobonis. Those are pitchers. Catcher, Francisco Alvarez. Fat slob, loser, immature. And last year, it was the day that we got Khalil's autograph. And Alvarez comes out and he signs for us, and he's standing in the area where they come out normally, and he literally just starts counting $20 bills. Like, I'm serious, just starts counting $20 bills. It was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot stand Francisco Alvarez.
Yeah, he really doesn't sign cards.
Just horrible person in general.
Yeah.
Infielder, we got Brett Beatty. He's rude. He wouldn't take a picture with us in Binghamton, and ever since then I've been praying on his downfall. Like, he's a loser. For outfielder, Tanner Murphy, he did pretty good when he was here, but got sent down. Don't really know too much about him. The last segment that we're going to do for this podcast, it's a very long episode, but we're going to wrap it up with this. We're going to do our top 5 favorite players on the Syracuse Mets this year. So starting with me, my top 5, it goes 1 to 5. So 1 is Jonathan Arauz, Dennis Santana, Humberto Mejia, Jalen Davis, and Luke Ritter. So those are my top 5 favorite guys on this year's team.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of repeats of that for mine. Initially, when I saw this, I wrote "Don't know, don't care," because honestly, a lot of the team is not good, to be honest with you guys. But there is a few good guys in there. So my top 5 are Humberto Mejia, Dennis Santana, Jalen Davis, Jose Peraza, and I got Mark Vientos there because he is one of my better favorite players on the team. But honestly, I'm not really sure because he doesn't respect his peers, so he's a little iffy for me.
I had wrote in, I don't especially like anybody this year. It's one of the worst teams, in my opinion, that I can remember. It's definitely the worst team that when it was the Mets. So I have Jonathan Arauz, Mark Vientos, Jose Peraza, Ronnie Mauricio, and Jalen Davis. Yet it's still early, and there could be people that I like more when they play more and when I see them more.
Great. Well, I know this episode is very long. I hope you guys enjoyed. Other than that, that's pretty much it for this weekly episode. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all the normal stuff. Becca's social medias will be in the description, so follow those. Becca, thank you for being on the podcast. We really appreciate you being a guest. Other than that, we're out. So see you guys sometime, probably next week for a weekly episode, maybe a vlog. We'll let you guys know. Other than that, we're out. Peace.